If you're a heat and air technician or even a salesperson, what does timing have to do with answering questions, dealing with objections, and even doing role play? And why does it matter? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California. A perfect day to talk about sales and business, and a fantastic day to talk about you for HVAC technician sales secrets. All right, so here's the thing. Last week, I was in San Diego, and we were working with executives on conversations to purchase companies. And so what would happen is somebody would come up and they would give their role play, and then they would give their conversation. And then we would say, hey, here's a couple of things that you could do better. Here is something that would really benefit you. This is something that you're missing. And hands down, across the board, for the people who were there that we were coaching, there was a common thread. There was a common problem. And it was how they were answering questions. And so on the flight home, I was sitting here thinking like, okay, how can I share with people in a very easy and meaningful way a visual representation of what I hear converted to what I turned into what I see, so that you can know what needs to be done. So I got my $12 whiteboard right here. And there's a reason why I use it, because like there's only so much room to put content. I can't just keep putting stuff. I have to make sure to keep things short. So let's say that you and I are role playing, having a conversation, we're dealing with a concern, we're dealing with an objection from the buyer, and I say, hey, I got to think about it. And you have the greatest answer ever, right? You know how to have the concern, struggle, problem, issue dealt with, but you say it wrong. You're going to struggle with the person who you're meeting. Now, this right here is why you should join my email publication. I give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training. It's an email publication. You get emails from me. If you don't want emails, don't do it. You want emails? Fantastic. Okay. So here is the visual representation. It's the script plus like a second and then the answer. Okay. So when I say script, this could actually be what you're doing in real life. So if you're using a script, if you're using a process, especially 100% if you're struggling, you have to know that this is the normal pattern that people do, right? The more that you need to close deals, the faster that you talk, the faster that you deal with objections. But there's a natural cadence to conversation. There's natural pauses. And all things aside, if you have the opportunity to either A, speed up, right? We're going to speed up. We have A, speed up, or B, slow down. What do you pick? What do you think is going to be better for you? A, speed up. B, slow down. Well, I'm going to give you the answer. B. And so I'm gonna count each one of these little marks right here, a dash with a V underneath it, as like a second. And so this executive that we were working with in San Diego, when they were on the phone and when they were having the conversation and they were role playing the conversation, their nervous energy took their normal conversation from 3 beats, right? 1, 2, 3 to like 1. And it made the conversation feel uncomfortable. It made the process feel uncomfortable. So let's say that you and I, let's go back to our conversation of, hey, I got to think about it, right? There really should be you have to, whoa, what? I'm confused. But you can't do that in one beep of a second. You can't go, what? I'm confused. This doesn't make sense. So this is something that happens when people role play, and that's all they do. They don't have the real conversation, or when they need to make sales, or when they're nervous, or when they're under a lot of pressure. It's their answer. So script could be the word answer. Their answer between the conversation of what's going on for the person. So I want to think about it. Can you help me out here? Right? That would be my natural pause time, is about 2 seconds. Right? So the way that you figure this out is you sit in conversations. You can watch the ping pong match back and forth between other people and just start counting and getting this cadence down. Now, I have spent a lot of time, and I can give you the answer, which I will, but please do this too. Here is the answer. It is 2001, 2002, 2000, It doesn't usually get to 2003. Now it can, but as you practice, as you role play, one of the things you absolutely have to be aware of is the timing in the conversation. And as you roll this process out in real life, you have to be aware of the timing. You need to calibrate. You need to say, hey, here is what I'm willing to do. Here is how I am going to move forward to make this happen, okay? So be aware that this right here is, like, if I could give you one-on-one coaching, this is probably where we would start. Whether you're doing good and you're like, or if you're like, boo, I'm doing bad, okay? Be aware that one of the conversations that we have to talk about is timing. Timing. Like, it's like, for the millennials, this may not make any sense to you. If you've ever driven a stick car, there's clutch gas. So if you count the conversation as like, hey, here we go, we're going to have to put in the clutch and the pause, and then the answer is the gas. Well, you know what happens if you've ever driven a stick and you do this operational a little bit, you stall out. And the same thing happens in sales. You stall out if you go way too fast. So my challenge for you today, this week, as you're watching other people interact, do the beats, 2001, 2002, and you're going to go 2000. And before you can get to 3, most people answer. Now, deep conversations, big conversations, solid conversations. Here's what's going to happen is someone's going to sit down and they're going to ponder a question. And it's probably going to take them 12, 13, 14 seconds to answer that question, and it's going to feel like an eternity. So, super pro tip and super importante for you, as you role play this, you should have the person, or if you're doing the coaching, or if you're doing the training, or if you're doing any of this, you should absolutely prepare people for these long pauses. It shouldn't just always be as we role play 2001, 2002, 2003. No, you should go 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. And then the salesperson should just learn to be quiet, right? Shh. You know, chata? Shut the heck up, right? You got to be aware. You got to be aware that, like, conversations are not all 100% exactly the same. I speak at a different pace and cadence than you may. You may speak slower than I do. You may speak faster than I do. So be aware. And super important tip number 2. You should really be practicing and role-playing whatever you need to say at least 60. 6, right? Sign language 6, 0. 60 times. That's the magic number. About 60 times of you saying something back and forth, okay? So, you're on your script. Person comes back, rebuttal, you pause 1 second, you're going to really struggle. It's like really like 3. 2.75 to 3 is really the magic number of the conversation that, you know, you got the objection, you got the current concern, you got whatever's going on in the mind of the buyer. Be aware that this is something that happens from the ground up, right? So dealing with people who are brand new in sales, yep. Dealing with people who've been in sales, yep. Dealing with closers, when they struggle, absolutely. Like in that struggle, when salespeople struggle, this is one of the first things that happen, right? And then even executives, CEOs, executives, like not all the time do they have to go back to sales calls and have conversations, and some things that are brand new or weird to them. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, you know what you got to do. Share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.